Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about doll boxes, which is not something that really fits with my channel necessarily. I'm not a packaging person because I do collect all of my dolls out of box. Part of that is because I do not have the space to collect them all in box, and part of it is because I do like to be able to touch them and hold them and redress them and all of that. So not very conductive to an in-box collecting experience. Of course, if you are an in-box collector, I am not here to judge. I'm happy that you enjoy your collection in whatever way that you do. But for me, boxes and packaging are a nice extra aside. I appreciate a cute box on a doll, but it's not what draws me to the doll, and it's not the main focal point by any means. But today we are going to be talking about some dolls that you guys and I both think have the best packages. So some of these are ones that I included, and then I did ask you guys on Instagram and then here on YouTube to submit your favorite doll packaging, and a lot of these are ones that you guys submitted. So thank you so much for all of the responses. I got so many. I couldn't possibly fit them all in this video. So if yours wasn't included, I promise it's not personal. I tried to just pick my absolute favorites because there were so many that you guys suggested. So these are the ones that I agree with the most. But yeah, that is what we are doing today. As I'm talking about the boxes, as per usual, this is just my opinion, and you're absolutely free to think that these boxes are trash. I guess let me know in the comments. But hopefully you will enjoy these boxes just as much as I do. One other thing to get out of the way really quick. You know what I'm doing here? I'm giving an audio disclaimer because I knew preemptively that my audio was probably going to mess up again in this video. And so I was like, oh, I'll just film it in the actual video instead of having to make an editing note. You know why I'm here making an editing note? It's because it's literally worse than ever before. I'm trying so many different things. And at this point, this is just my PSA that if you have been seeing my videos recently, you know I've been apologizing in every single video that my audio is not working the way that I want it to. I will get it fixed eventually. I'm not going to address it or apologize any further because I feel like at this point it's getting irritating for y'all. So if my if my audio is trash in any future videos, just pretend it's not until I fix it. I'll get there eventually, but I'm so over this shit, so let's just get to the video. With that out of the way, if you guys do find yourself enjoying the video, if you could give it a like, that's super helpful to me. If you're new here and you have fun today, definitely subscribe so you can have more fun with me in the future. And if you want to go out of your way to support me, I have links and stuff in the description down below. But I will finally stop talking and we can get to the actual doll boxes. Alrighty, so the first doll that we have to look at today is Lily Chang from Rainbow High, a doll that I do personally love very much, and I did really enjoy her box when I got her. I thought it was a pretty impressive box. She was meant to be a limited edition, more of a collector release, so it did make sense that Rainbow High went a little harder with the box on this one. I think the art was beautiful. I think the way that it just opened up and revealed the doll was really beautiful, and definitely if you are an inbox collector, it is a nice little display there. A lot of you guys submitted this one, so I definitely couldn't not include her, especially since I do agree that she has a nice box. It's not my favorite of the day. There are some that we're going to get to that are just absolutely out there, such crazy innovative designs, but props to Lily Chang because she did also have a pretty cool box. Okay, with this next one, I feel I have to say that we're kicking off a long string of both Monster High and Ever After High boxes. Part of that is my fault because I am a Monster High fan, so of course I'm going to think of their boxes first. But also you guys submitted these, okay? So it's not just my fault that this video is going to be dominated by Monster High and Ever After High. But just a quick warning, we're going to have some other ones pop up in the video, other brands pop up in the video, but it is going to be a lot of those too. And I don't think that you guys are going to be disappointed. The first one that I absolutely agree with, and again was submitted tons of times by you guys, is the SDCC Freak de Chic Draculaura. This box was so incredible. I wasn't the biggest fan of the doll. She just didn't really hit for me personally, but I can say I think the box is absolutely immaculate in design. The way the bat wings fold out on the sides is really cool. The way she is hanging upside down is very thematic because she is a trapeze artist. Is that what you would call it within the Freak de Chic universe, in a circus? I'm pretty sure, yeah, trapeze artist is what I'm looking for. But also, she's a bat, so the hanging upside down is perfect. And what really gets it for me is, I'm gonna forget the term again. Last time I talked about this doll, which admittedly has been a while, one of you guys told me what the term was, and I have completely forgotten, so feel free to tell me again. But the name Draculaura on the box, the way that it's written, is written so that if you display it upright or upside down, either way, it can be read as Draculaura, and I think that is such a fun concept. It's very thematic to what's happening with the doll, and it's also just super cool in general. That's such an amazing design point. Again, I'm not someone who gets excited about boxes, but this box had me excited. So like she was the first one that I thought of when I was coming up with my own list. And again, you guys definitely agreed, and I think she deserves it. Okay, this one's really impressive. This is really good. This is the San Diego Comic-Con Cerise hood. Wait, am I crazy? It says Cerise Wolf, but it's Cerise hood. I'm not... Whatever. I'm not an Ever After High expert, still haven't seen the show or anything. So like, maybe I'm just missing something. We're gonna ignore that for now. Anyway though, the outside, like a lot of Ever After High things, is designed to look like a book, and it's a beautiful book. I would love to have this displayed on my shelves. It's absolutely gorgeous. But then when you open it, the front panel is like the inside of the book, and I'm sure it has some relevant information about Cerise. But the way this doll is displayed in this book box is so amazing to me. I think the pose is really nice and dynamic, and it shows off her cape or her cloak that she's got going on. But what gets me the most is the way that there are these like 3D cutouts of the trees that look like they're illustrations taken from a storybook, but they're placed both behind and in front of her, and it just gives her this place in the world. Like, it really solidifies that she belongs in this book. It makes her feel so much more a part of the scene, and it makes the scene feel so much more alive. And it's such a small thing to do, to have like the 3D cutout be on the front and back of her, like to kind of encapsulate her within that. It's not something that takes like an insane amount of effort, but it is so effective and so impressive in the way that this doll displays. And like, I don't have her, I will never have the budget for her, even though I think she's a beautiful doll. But if I ever did magically get her, I would be having a very hard time actually displaying her out of box, even though that is what I literally always do, just because I think this is absolutely phenomenal packaging design. I'm pretty sure I have all of the Ever After High SDCC dolls all in a row here. Again, like pretty much everything on here, these were submitted by you guys several times. So the next one is Cedarwood, daughter of Pinocchio. And this one I don't think is quite as impressive as Cerise's. I'm sorry. I do still think it's really, really cool. I think the way that the doll is posed in the box, where she appears to be like floating on her marionette strings, is a really nice touch. I think the poses that these SDCC dolls had were really, really cool, because they just do make the character feel more alive, as opposed to some dolls that you get and they're just like flat in box, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying that's not okay, because again, for a lot of people, especially the kids that like most dolls are aimed at, that's fine, and like they're going to take them out of the box. But for a collector edition, I do think the posing is a really, really nice touch. And then the way that the stage is like set up underneath her and like around her with the box, it's really nice. Again, not quite as cool as Cerise, but it was cool. However, this next one, Raven Queen, I was flabbergasted by. This is so beautiful. So there is like an outer packaging that goes on top of this, but I just want to highlight this because she's packaged in a way that makes it look like she's in like the magic mirror. And it is absolutely exquisite. I love all of the detail on like the frame of the mirror. It's so beautiful. You get an incredibly clear image of the doll. Like, you can see her very, very well. So it's great for display purposes. But even though so much of this is just a clear plastic window, I feel like the creativity was so high here. And it really just amps it up from looking like a doll that's just standing there to being like, this is a full work of art. I'm beyond impressed by this. Like, I saw this because I'd never actually seen this doll in package before until I was told to look it up for this video. And she is still taking my breath away now. I think that is such a cool design, and props to the packaging team for Ever After High with these, because these were truly amazing. A little break from Monster High and Ever After High here. We have the LOL OMG, specifically the remix dolls, another one that I got a lot, and these are really impressive, I will say. They have like a little record that comes out, and like as you do the OMG unboxing process, like the old one, because this was before they started showing like what the doll looked like with a clear plastic panel, you would be able to take the record out and then open it up and like place it down. I don't know how the like actual technology worked, because I didn't ever get one of these dolls in box. The only remix doll that I have is Bad Girl, and I did buy her loose secondhand. So like, I've never seen one of these boxes in person, so I couldn't begin to tell you like how it technically works, but it actually plays music, and I think that is so fun, because obviously it's a musical themed line from LOL OMG. And it's just really fun and impressive to me that they made a box that literally plays the music from like the characters. It's just a fun thing. It's not like new in the sense that there have been other dolls in the past that like had boxes that play music. I immediately think of Barbie, and like some of the singing dolls that they've had in the past would have a box that has like a try me button on it, so you could kind of know what you were getting into before buying the doll. But I think that the way that OMG did it with the record and everything was really creative. I felt like it was a fresh take on like the singing elements of packaging, and I think it was a really cool idea, so definitely they had to be included here. Right back to, you know, the main theme for this video with the just core line, like the first core line of Ever After High dolls, because they, like the Cerise SDCC doll, had kind of a book theme where the boxes were made to look a little bit like the spine of a book, and then they also had their diaries. Like the old Monster High dolls had diaries that came with them, so did the Ever After High dolls, but the diaries were in the format of a bookmark. I never knew that until I got my first Ever After High doll. My husband bought me the one that I'm showing you, the Lizzie Hart's doll, and because she was still in the box when he bought it, I got to have like the full unboxing experience, and I was so blown away by the bookmark. I thought it was such a cute touch, and I think it's cute, and I honestly think it's not something we see as much from doll packaging anymore, where they really just take the theming up to the next level. This could have just been an average, like, yeah, this is a fairy tale doll, here's a plain box, but they made it thematic with the book, which is already cool enough in and of itself, but then to add on the diary being a bookmark, absolutely top tier. I am obsessed. We're getting to like a slightly more recent one here. I had to talk about the Vampire Heart Draculaura, and sometimes I feel guilty because I feel like I talk about her so much on this channel. I think she was an exceptional doll, and like, I will always hold that opinion. And yes, the packaging was also absolutely amazing. I honestly don't feel like this image is doing the best justice. Like, if you've had her in person or if you've seen her in person in her packaging, you know how impressive it is. There's layers to it. There's like little transparent panels of plastic within the box that have bats printed on them, so the bats look like they're floating. There's this like shimmery holographic element to it. It's really, really, really nice, and it's one of very few boxes that I have kept in my collection. I did unbox the Vampire Heart Draculaura, but I kept like the base panel and then the back panel of her box so that I could display her kind of semi-in box. I only got rid of the front clear panel so that I could still, you know, actually have a tactile experience with her if I wanted. But that's how good this box was, and like how impressive it is in person. It really just sets the scene for this doll and looks so amazing. So I literally have half of it on my shelf up there chilling out with Draculaura displayed immaculately. This next one is one that you guys suggested a shocking amount to me. Like, I didn't think that like this doll was ugly in particular. I didn't think that she had terrible packaging, but like she didn't stand out in my mind to the point where I didn't even remember what the box looked like until I was looking it up because you guys kept submitting it. And that is the Halliday Scalita Calaveras doll. The doll was fine to me. I didn't end up getting her because she didn't wow me, and like, you know, that's fine. I don't think she's terrible. I just wasn't super enthralled by her. But I never really paid attention to the box because, again, I'm someone who just immediately goes to the doll. Like, I don't tend to pay a ton of attention to the box unless it's so amazing it forces me to pay attention. And this one, I think, is an understated but very beautiful box. It doesn't have a crazy shape, a crazy design, or anything like that, but I think the illustrations on it are so wonderfully done because they're relatively simplistic. It's not like they have like these hyper realistic illustrations on the box. They're, again, relatively simplistic, but they're so effective. The colors are so beautiful, and this one, like, minimalism is a strong word, but compared to some of these other boxes, I do feel like the design on this is leaning more towards the minimalistic end when you're specifically comparing it to the other ones on this list, but I feel like it is just as nice. I think a lot of it is the colors. I feel like the shapes are very appealing. I don't know, this was such an interesting one because I really had not paid attention to this box at all, but once I saw it, I totally understood what you guys meant when you said that she had a very pretty box. Because it's not what I typically think of when I think of an outstanding packaging for a doll, but it really is kind of mesmerizing. Okay, this next one came up a lot as well, and that is the Sweet Screams line from Monster High back in Gen 1, and this is pretty fun. It's like not a theme that I necessarily gravitate towards. I've said that a lot on here, that like sweets themed dolls generally don't get me super excited. I do think these are amazingly designed dolls, like, don't get me wrong, they're just not my personal taste, so I never really thought about the box, and I don't even know... I'm not sure if these were on shelves still by the time I started collecting Monster High. I can't quite remember the timing, but I don't remember ever seeing this. But the box, what we should be focusing on. Very, very colorful, which, like, is not always what we saw from Monster High. Definitely it wasn't like as dark and gothic as some people seem to remember it being, but this one in particular is a very, very bright color scheme on the box. I love the art of Dracula on the front here. I feel like it's just a very dynamic pose, a very funny pose to have her blowing the bubblegum here. It's like more expressive than you might typically see on a Monster High box or any other doll box, because like they're trying to make it look nice, and I feel like this is a little bit more expressive than normally doll artists would get to design on the box. But the real kicker is actually the back of the box, which is like this wild swirl pattern with the like explanation of the line or whatever written into the swirl. That is so fun. It's giving very Alice in Wonderland vibes, but I just think it's a very creative take. Not the easiest to read, but it definitely is eye-catching, and I have to give them credit for that. Still on Monster High here, the next one is the Gloom and Bloom line. We have Genifire here as the example. This one's really pretty. I genuinely, like, I talk very frequently about the fact that I love G3 here. Like, I obviously love G1, you can see behind me, like I love Gen 1 of Monster High, but I low-key like Gen 3 a little bit more. I don't know if it's just because I'm an adult collector and so like my fully formed brain is getting to connect to these dolls in a different way, or what the situation is, but I am beyond obsessed with G3. That being said, the one thing that I miss, I think more than anything else from Gen 1 is the art style on the boxes. Like, there was just something about it that was really unique, really captivating to me, and really beautiful. And that's not to say that the art on the G3 boxes isn't beautiful. This is probably a hot take and like probably something that I might regret saying. It's not anything against the artist whatsoever. It is absolutely beautiful art, but something about it just, to me personally, kind of lacks the personality of the Gen 1 art style. And it's not because it's G1 versus G3 like we've already established. That's not coming into play in like a negative way here. I just think there was something about the Gen 1 art style that fits so well with the dolls and felt very catered to the dolls and their characters, whereas I feel like the box art for G3 dolls is like, oh, here's nice art, here's an unrelated character almost. Again, really hot take. I'm supposed to be talking about this one and instead I went off on a whole tangent. Anyway, the Gloom and Bloom art, absolutely beautiful. We have Genifire on the box, again, with that amazing G1 art. And I do think just like the all-over green and black is a very striking combination to have for the Gloom and Bloom line. I love how in the background, I hope you guys can see it okay on the screen. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But the like trowel and the other gardening supplies that she comes with are packaged so that they're like on a pot. And I think that's a really cute detail. I don't know, this one isn't like as insane and like as striking as some of the other ones on this list, but I do still think it is really, really pretty. I got an eyelash in my eye. Literally in the middle of talking. If I looked crazy, that's why. Good golly. On we go. We're finally getting to a slightly different brand. I'm not sure. I think that actually might be all of the Monster High and all of the Ever After High. Okay, so we're getting to like diversify a little bit here. This one is the Bratz. They're the Tokyo Go-Go collector dolls. There were a few of them. I have Tiana up on here. I think this is really beautiful. It's giving kind of the same vibe to me as the Skeleta Holiday doll in the sense that the actual graphics are pretty minimal. Obviously the shape of the box is very cool and exciting and thematic, but as far as the actual graphics go, there's just like the one little illustration in the corner and then like flowers and butterflies kind of going up the sides, and I think that's really, really nice. I think that the shape of the box, the structure, does enough for that to be eye-catching and exciting. And everything else is just like little decoration on top. It looks so, so beautiful. And like, I just don't feel like Bratz boxes typically were that exciting. Like they weren't back in the heyday of Bratz, like when they first came out. They were very functional boxes, which is fine for a set of Playline dolls. But I think seeing them do something creative like this was also really, really cool. Okay, this one's my personal edition because I will literally never stop talking about this line of dolls until the day that I die. If y'all have been here for a while, y'all know I am obsessed with the Barbie Dolls of the World Princess Edition line of dolls. I have so many of them. I want more. I love these dolls. And one of the things that I adore is that from the front, they just look really average. Like they just, you know, have their little box. It's very functional. It's borderline boring, some might say, although I think they're nice, but I'm super biased. But the back of the box has information about the culture that that particular Barbie comes from. And I think that is so, so fun. I'm a sucker for a little bit of educational content. And while it is pretty surface level, like it's not a deep dive into anything, I really love that there is a little bit of information on the back of these boxes. I think it's really cool that in addition to having a doll designed to represent a culture, they're also like giving some information about the culture. I literally am so obsessed with this. All of the dolls that I have from this line, I have the backs of the box cut out and like I keep them because I want to eventually be able to display them. I love this so much. So no one else asked for this. Okay, all of the other ones, I think at least one other person mentioned something about, minus maybe one. But this one, this is like a love for me, and I had to put it in here. Okay, yeah, so the next one was another one that no one mentioned, and really random. I actually just came across this spontaneously while browsing on eBay, and this is the School Cool Barbie. I don't think I've ever laid eyes on this Barbie in my life, but the packaging is a literal backpack, like a transparent backpack. I know young me would have ate that shit up as a child. I would have been begging my parents for this doll, even if I didn't actually care about the doll, just because it's cool that she comes with a backpack. Does that make sense? No. Was I a sensical child? No. And am I a sensical adult? No, because I still think this is absolutely amazing. And honestly, I still would buy a doll on the shelf if they did this again. I think this is so cute for absolutely no reason. And I just, again, I wish that we got to see stuff like this now. Like, I know some of these have been decently recently, like the Vampire Heart Draculaura, but those are like collector dolls, you know? I think the most recent one on this list that was a Playline doll was the OMG Remix dolls. I really want to see dolls have like weird packaging again. And this is coming from someone who doesn't care about packaging. So why am I even saying that? I don't know. But I want to see a little clear backpack on the shelf with a doll in it again. Okay, this one was submitted by you guys, and I honestly kind of forgot about this. Like, I know I have the Bratz Mawalola Jade in the background here. I don't know if you can see her, but she's back there. I forgot about how cool the box was, even though I'm pretty sure I talked about it when I unboxed that doll. But I have Felicia here on screen to, like, show you guys the example. This is just a very dynamic box. The shape is wild. It's a little bit big, like a little bit bigger than absolutely necessary, so there is that. But this is just so fascinating to me. It's very graphic, very fun. The way that the name is done on like the top with the angle, so it makes it look like it's getting further away from you. It's all very exciting, and it definitely goes with the dolls. I think this is a very harmonious design in terms of the actual doll and then how the doll is packaged. They just bleed together so completely. I would have absolutely believed that these were all like concepted. It's not a word. I would have believed that the package and the doll were conceptualized all at the same time because it goes together that well. And maybe they were. I don't actually know how that process works, but it's not something I can say about every single doll, and so I think it's really, really impressive. We are finally almost done. I have two more for you guys. So the first one is a submission from y'all that I actually didn't really know about because I don't pay attention to Winx dolls particularly, but one of you guys said I should look up the Winx Mattel dolls specifically, and I'm not disappointed. I watched Winx when I was younger, and I have vague memories of it, but that's really it. I never got any of the dolls, and even as an adult, a lot of the time, I know there have been so many different brands that have made Winx dolls, but like something is always off about them to me. But the packaging on this one is definitely not what's off. This is so fun and funky, and like, is it unnecessary? Yeah, but like, it's so cool. I just love the weird shape to this. I don't know, it's so fun, and it's hard to have this discussion because like I'm sitting here praising this, but also I do know that there is a big movement within like packaging for everything, but especially like we're talking about dolls here, packaging that is more environmentally friendly, and so having all of this excess plastic is not that. Like this doll definitely could have been packaged in a smaller box that was like using less plastic, but I'm trying to like not account for that because these dolls have already been made, right? Like it's kind of too late to discuss that, if that makes sense. I'm trying to just look at the aesthetic here, and aesthetically this is so fun and funky fresh, and I am obsessed with it. And then the last one is the LOL OMG Fierce Cleopatra doll. This doll is such an interesting little tidbit of doll history. I liked her a lot. I thought that she was really, really pretty. I loved the Fierce dolls in general. I kind of wish that we had gotten to see more of them and that they have done better. But this doll in particular was so overpriced, like so expensive. I think she was like $100 when she first came out, which in hindsight, it's wild that I paid that. I'm a little upset it passed me for it, but too late. Regardless of any of like the controversy about whether she was worth it or not, or all of that, the box is phenomenal. Like, this was so beautiful. The way that it opens up because when you close it, you can just see the doll's face, and then you open it up and it reveals the doll in all her splendor. She's got a beautiful black drop. There's so many pieces that are iridescent and holographic and all of these shimmery things that just make my brain go brr. Absolutely beautiful. And then on the back, you had a full color illustration of the doll. This was, in a word, stunning. Like, you can have any reservations you want about the doll. I completely understand that. The price especially, I get. But this box, I feel like, was undeniably a cool box, and like definitely something that you could keep for display purposes. It's gorgeous. But yeah, that is finally all of the boxes that I wanted to go over today. I was genuinely shocked by how many you guys had that you wanted me to look up. And again, I couldn't even fit them all in this video because I was like, I know this is going to be way too long. So like, I'm sorry if this was a super long one, but I think it's really interesting just because, again, it's not something that I'm super passionate about. Like, packaging is not my personal forte. But now looking at it, like looking at some of these kind of more special boxes, I get a little bit more why people do love packaging, because I feel like when it's amazing, it's amazing, and it really adds to the artistry of the doll as like an adult collector, talking from my perspective. So this was definitely a fun one for me to make. I got to see some boxes that I'd never seen before and kind of develop a new appreciation for some like more collector-ish boxes. So it's been a fun one for me. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed as well. Let me know in the comments which was your favorite box from today, or if you have like another line or doll or whatever that has amazing packaging that I didn't include, feel free to drop that as well. But yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.